If you're a bride or plan on getting married anytime soon, I've got your back. As a professional makeup artist, I used to specialize in bridal makeup, and I have so many helpful do's and don'ts for what you should and shouldn't do before your wedding day and on your wedding day. These are really going to be in no particular order, and I have a lot. I have a big amount of do's and don'ts for you, so let's just get right into it. Some of these things might seem like complete no-brainers, and they are, trust me, but in my experience of doing brides for years and years and years of my career, I've seen it all. I've seen everything you could possibly see. I've gone through so many different situations, and I want to just give you basically like little helpful reminders of what you should and should not do. One of the things being, make sure you brush your teeth before you get your makeup done. This might seem incredibly obvious, but trust me, I still encounter this on set with clients. I'll do their makeup and then they jump up, they're like, oh, before you do my lip, can I go brush my teeth? And I'm like, well, yes, you can. I'm not going to stop you. However, it would have been more helpful if you did it before I started your makeup application. Because no matter what, no matter how careful we think that we are, there's still the chance of water dripping down and disrupting your perfectly applied fresh makeup. Make sure you have brushed your teeth and you are ready to sit down and be fully present, or at least just relaxed while you're getting your makeup done for your big day. On that same topic of sitting down in your makeup artist chair, make sure you are allotting an ample amount of time for your makeup application. Even if it seems like an excessive amount, trust me, the morning of, it's such a busy day, people are coming in and out of your room, they're talking to you, they're interrupting the makeup process over and over again. I've seen it 1,000 times being a makeup artist. So make sure you are giving yourself more than enough time you think you need to get your makeup done. I always say an hour and a half is the minimum you should allot for your makeup to be done properly, not rushed. And that goes into another thing that you shouldn't do. Don't rush your makeup artist. That is the last thing you want to do on your wedding day. You could rush so many other things on your wedding day, but one of the most important things on your wedding day is to not rush your makeup artist, because once you throw that stress into the situation, it could be really disruptive. And that also leads me to another really important topic. Make sure you are delegating your tasks. Make sure you're delegating your bridesmaids to help you steam clothes, to be the answer to person, right? So that person that's going to pick up the phone when it's ringing constantly, that person is going to check your text. That way you're allowing yourself to have that designated hour and a half minimum for your makeup artist to just dive in, be fully in it, right? Be uninterrupted, and to give you the best makeup application they possibly can. Sometimes it's not as easy to do that when we have a bunch of people and it's a revolving door of people walking in and out and disrupting and interrupting the whole process. I can't even tell you how many times I've done brides over the course of 16 years in my career, and they've sat in my chair and then I'm doing their makeup application and this is them. Don't do that to your artist. Just don't. If you can avoid it, please, please do. It is so disruptive to the whole makeup process, because we're stopping what we're doing and we're losing our train of thought. And I might just be speaking for myself with this, but you can lose your train of thought really easily as a makeup artist when you're getting constantly interrupted. Things just aren't going to go as smoothly as you would like them to go. And that is what you want to avoid on your makeup day. You want to minimize interruptions. So make sure you're delegating little tasks. Have someone appointed to your phone so you can be carefree and phone free and just in the moment with your makeup artist, because you really want to enjoy that relaxation time, because let's face it, that is going to be the most relaxing part of your wedding day, is sitting down for that hour plus getting your makeup done. So maximize it, enjoy it, get the most out of it, and get that you time. I've always told my brides, once they sit down in my chair, I'm like, listen, this is your most relaxing point of your day. This is your time right here. No one else's. So nobody else should be interrupting your time. So make sure you do whatever you have to do to get that time all to yourself. And if that means locking your bridal party out of the room, then so be it. If that means turning off your phone for an hour and a half and trusting that your bridal party or your mother-in-law or your mother or your sister, whoever is in your group, is taking care of the things that need to be taken care of so you can relax and be in that moment uninterrupted, just do it. So this leads me to another don't. Don't make drastic changes in your physical appearance before your wedding. This is not the time to try eyelash extensions for the first time. This is not the time to try a whole different hair color. This is not the time to test out a spray tan that is way too deep for your complexion. Like, you want to be you, but enhanced, right? So make sure you're taking into consideration what makes you you. and then go from there. You want to make sure you recognize that person that is looking back at you in those wedding photos years and years later, and make sure you're not following trends too. Your bridal makeup is not for makeup trends. Your bridal makeup is to enhance your features, bring out your eye color, enhance your lips, give yourself the best glow you possibly can, but to be you. The end result should always be you. Because the last thing you want to do is look back and be like, oh yeah, that makeup trend was really pretty back then, but it's not current anymore, and I wish I didn't do that. You want to think timeless, classic, things that are going to withstand years and years and trends and trends. That leads me to my next don't, which is don't choose an eyelash style that is not suited for your eye shape. If you're going too heavy with your lashes or too dramatic, what that can do is really bring down the appearance of your eyes, really make them look like they're half awake, which could then in your photos make you look sleepy. That's not what you want on your wedding day. You want to be big, bright-eyed, open-eyed, well-rested, all those things. So choosing a lash style that fits your eye shape and your style in general is absolutely crucial. So this also leads me to not trying lash extensions for the first time. If you've never tried lash extensions and you've always been curious, your wedding day is not the time to try it. It's not. A month prior to 2 months prior, that's when it's time to try that out and to test it and to take photos after you've had that service done. And let's say you end up loving the style that you chose and you love the outcome of those lash extensions, then you know it's going to be a surefire hit on your wedding day. But if you test them out the week before your wedding, where it's too late to take them off, absolutely not. You do not want to test the waters with anything new like eyelash extensions on your wedding day. So if you're going to try them out, give yourself a good amount of time, 2-3 months minimum, to test them out, to see if you like them, to see if they're a good fit for you. And if they are, great. If not, now you know. Another don't that I really think is an important one to touch on, it's not makeup related, but it's beauty related. It's all in the same boat. And that is spray tans. Spray tans could be amazing, but they can also be very risky. Okay, so if you're gonna do a spray tan, just like with anything else, like eyelash extensions, make sure you're doing it with enough time to recover before your wedding day if it doesn't work out the way you want it to. So make sure if you're going to do a spray tan, test it out. Get a spray tan a few months prior to your wedding. See if you like that level of intensity. And if you do, bookmark it. Check it off your list. Know that you're going to go the same person, get the same level of intensity with your spray tan. And still, if you're going to get your spray tan leading up to your wedding, make sure you still have enough days in between before your wedding for it to settle, to kind of fix any streaks that might happen in case you sleep went the wrong way or it dries funny or anything like that. You want to make sure you have enough time in between your wedding day and the spray tan application to do any damage control if necessary. Another don't that is not quite makeup related, but still very, very important because it is going to have a huge impact on the way your skin and your complexion looks on your big day. That's drinking too much leading up to your wedding. The morning of, that's a whole different thing, but leading up to your wedding, if you are drinking heavily or at least consistently night after night or day after day leading up to your wedding, that can really cause your complexion to look dull, puffy, and overall fatigued the day of your wedding. So it's really, really important that you want to lay low. If you really want your skin to be at its utmost best and you want to feel your best, obviously, like that goes without saying physically, but also appearance wise, it can really take a toll on your skin. So an overlooked don't for your wedding day is just drinking too much leading up to your big day, because it really can cause your overall complexion to appear dull. It will definitely cause puffiness, and you just want to avoid that. You want to look your absolute best, and you want your makeup to sit the best it possibly can on your wedding day. Which leads me to another don't, which is do not do any heavy-duty, harsh chemical treatments or facial treatments prior to your wedding. At least 2 to 3 months prior to your wedding. I'm talking chemical peels, micro needling. Oh my gosh, do not do anything like that. Even lasers, things like that, anything that involves downtime or anything that's too harsh on your skin, treatment-wise, the only thing you should really be doing is a facial, a basic facial. And then I would still suggest doing that a month prior to your wedding because it can lead to breakouts. It just can. Your skin can start to purge and do all these things. You never know if you're gonna have a reaction to certain treatments or certain skincare ingredients, so don't switch it up. Just don't. Avoid that, or at least start switching it up 6 months to the very minimum 4 months before your wedding. I mean, honestly, like the maximum I would do it close to your wedding is 4 months, and even that's kind of way too close. So I would say stick to the 6-month rule. If you're going to try new actives, if you're going to try new treatments on your skin, keep it 6 months prior to your wedding so you know you're good to go and your skin's not going to be in a phase of healing or purging or breakouts or irritation on or around your wedding day. Another thing to avoid, and I've seen this countless times, I've covered up tan lines and burn lines from being out in the sun countless times on my brides, okay? Brides get excited. Some have destination weddings. I've done quite a few destination weddings. I've done so many weddings just in general. And, you know, prior to the wedding, they take time off. Some of them will lay out, it depends on like if they're getting married at a fancy hotel and the hotel has a beautiful pool, they find themselves laying out, falling asleep, or just being out in the sun way too long. And then they have the bikini suntan, the bikini line suntan that is just incredibly hard as a makeup artist to cover up, especially if you're not equipped with like the right tools as a makeup artist, right? Or if you have a dress that's just not forgiving and it's gonna rub that makeup off, just avoid any kind of wild tan lines or sunburns prior to your wedding. The last thing you want to do is have your makeup artist packing makeup on your chest because they're trying to cover up that red sunburn. Another big one that I want you to avoid on your wedding day, do not let your makeup artist go too light with your concealer under your eye. Just don't. Please don't. What may look good in person, okay, in terms of like a brightening effect under the eye, once you're getting flash photography taken and tons of photos taken of you throughout the day, what looks normal in person can actually translate to be even brighter and even whiter on camera. And this is why it's also important to have makeup trials, right? So a don't would be not having a makeup trial. Always get a makeup trial. If you're planning on getting your makeup done professionally, do at least one makeup trial. If you're not sure about the artist that you want to go with, plan 2 trials, plan 3 trials, whatever you feel comfortable spending the money on. Do a makeup trial because it is such a game changer in establishing the makeup look and figuring out what you do and do not want for your makeup. Okay, this next don't might be a little bit more personal and it might come across maybe a little harsh, okay? But if you can, avoid tear jerker situations after you've had your makeup done. I know this is really hard and this is a really hard thing to control, but again, I'm speaking from experience and I've had countless brides where I've just finished their makeup, their lip is on, they're set with setting spray, their eyeliner is perfection, okay? And then somebody comes in and somebody chose that time. So, and I'm going to just say this very selfishly, to come in and tell you a tearjerker story, or to tell you that they're so happy for you, or to tell you about a relative that's maybe passed. And like, that's just not the time to bring up these touchy subjects. You know, it's sweet, it's heartwarming. I get the sentiment behind it. Spare the bride the tears because it's already an emotional day and the last thing they need to do is cry off all their freshly applied makeup. Save it for the morning. Save it for the champagne toast in the morning before you even get your makeup done. Save it for the rehearsal dinner the night before. Get all that out, get those emotions out, and that way you could go into your makeup application knowing that nobody's going to come in and kind of drop like an emotional bomb on you, right? That's the last thing you want to experience when you're a bride and you're paying a professional to do your makeup. You want that makeup to look incredible. You don't want somebody to come in and tell you a story that you have no control over your emotions with, right? And inevitably end up crying off your eye makeup or disrupting that beautifully perfected makeup look that your artist just spent an hour and a half doing. Try to avoid the tearjerker situations after your makeup is freshly applied, at least till you can get through the ceremony, at least till you can get through the photos, right? All those big, really, really important moments, try to get through those things with your makeup as fresh as possible, and then save the tears for the rest of the night, right? If you have to. But ultimately, I really say this because I've experienced this firsthand. I've done countless brides where someone has come in right after the makeup is freshly applied, and it hurts. It really hurts us as professionals because we just spent so much time perfecting your most important makeup of your life, essentially. And then somebody comes in and chooses that time because they want to tell you something. They want to get something off their chest, but they're not taking into consideration that it's not the right time for you and your big day. So I know it's a hard thing to avoid, but I just want to throw that out there because it's something I've experienced just so many times as a professional. And it's really hard on all of us. It's really hard on the bride and it's really hard on the makeup artist because, you know, we just want to see you be your absolute most perfect, flawless self on your wedding day. That's our job. And if we can avoid things like that, it really is like, it's a game changer. The next don't that I want to touch on is choosing a space to get your makeup done professionally on your wedding day that has no natural light coming in. This may not seem like that big of a deal, but trust me, it makes a huge difference. Yes, most makeup artists, if you're truly a professional, you should be coming in with your own professional lighting to help light any situation or any scenario that you're in, but help us out. Your makeup is going to come out so much more flawless and so much more true to the tones if you give us a room with some natural light coming in. Not a ton, doesn't have to be a huge open window, but give us some kind of natural light coming in so we can really see what the lipstick is going to translate like on. If you have too much blush on, things like that are really affected if we don't have any natural light to gauge this off of, right? So when you're choosing a space to get ready, if you can, if it's in your control, try to choose a space that has some natural light coming in. And this also leads me to the next don't. Don't try to set us up in the bathroom. We do not need to be in a crowded space that is just going to inhibit our working process, and it's going to slow us down exponentially. I mean, it's going to slow us down so much more than you would actually think. Not having actual space to spread out our products so we can be, as efficient with our time and our movements as possible, it really does take a toll on the overall timing of the day. And anything that sets us back is just not going to be overall good for the entire schedule, right? Because when you're on a schedule, when you're getting X amount of people hair and makeup ready on your big day, timing is key. So make sure people are on time, make sure people are not rolling in hungover from the night before if you can. I know it's always going to be, of course, exceptions to all these things, but all these things really do add up. And it really does bring it back to the fact that you should make sure you're not getting interrupted constantly when you're getting your makeup done. Allot that time for just you and your artist where you have no interruptions, you have no one coming in and bothering you. So again, choosing the right space with some natural light, preferably, if you can. And also making sure your artist that's coming in has a dedicated space where nobody is putting their stuff. We're not sharing a table with the florist. We're not sharing a table with the hairstylist. Give us our own space. That way we can be as efficient with our time and with the overall makeup application as possible. Because trust me, not having enough space can really lead to falling behind on a schedule and, just rushing and being unorganized. And the more unorganized you are, if you don't have that space to properly lay out your products and to keep things sanitary in between your applications, it just overall slows down the process. Another big don't, if you are choosing to wear sunscreen on your big day, and I say choosing, okay, because let's face it, I know I wear sunscreen every single day. Rain or shine, doesn't matter. I have it on. I have an SPF 50 on almost every single day of my life, unless I don't leave my house. But even then, I pretty much usually have it on no matter what, because there's light coming in through my window, through my house, right? On your wedding day, I think we can all agree it is not going to destroy your skin to not wear sunscreen one day. This one day. Okay. It's kind of a touchy subject, and there's a lot of conflicting thoughts about this. In my opinion, if you have to wear it, if you are absolutely deal breaker, I have to wear sunscreen, please choose a chemical over a physical. Sunscreens are goopy. Most of the time they're a little bit more goopy. And most of the time, those are the ones that are going to cause flashback in photos. So if you're a bride that is choosing to wear sunscreen on that day, make sure it is a chemical. I'm sorry, and I know some people hate chemical sunscreens, but if you're going to wear it on your big day, you want to just make sure that there's no chance of flashback. And listen, sunscreens have come light years. They're light years ahead of what they used to be. They are so different from what they used to be when I first started doing makeup, and bridal makeup especially. Back in the day, I would have said, there's no way I'm putting a sunscreen on you. Not even a chance. I mean, if you want to force me to put a sunscreen on you back in the day, I would have been like, I'm not the bridal makeup artist for you. Sorry. Because the chances were that it was going to flash back at some capacity. Even if it was just a little bit, it was going to flash back. Nowadays, they've come such a long way that, again, if you're going to choose to wear one, just choose a chemical. Another don't. If you have an active breakout, don't pick it. Just trust me. Just leave it alone. Don't touch it. Don't look at it. Don't talk to it. And definitely don't pick it, because it is so much easier for us as makeup artists to cover up an active pimple. When I say active, I mean one that hasn't been manipulated. Okay. One that hasn't been popped, pushed, tweaked, whatever you want to call it. Just leave it alone. So one that is active, meaning it's let's say it's bright red in tone. Okay. And let's say it's juicy. It's much easier for us to cover up an active breakout than a scab, because scabs have an even worse 3D effect than a bump on your face. A scab is going to have ridges. It's going to have different textures that are hard to cover up. And then once you put powder on a scab, or a scabbed over, breakout, it's going to look even worse. It's going to look dry. It's going to look flaky. You just want to avoid it. Leave it alone. Just trust me. Just leave it alone. Okay, now that we've gotten all those don'ts out of the way, I know it probably sounds like a whole lot of negativity, but they're just meant to be helpful. I promise you, these are all very, very helpful don'ts just to take into consideration. Now let's go let's switch things to be more positive. Let's talk about some do's, like some great do's for your wedding day. And let's kick things off with a really positive note. Get a massage. If you can, if you have, the financial means to treat yourself to a you moment, I say get a massage. Get a massage. I mean, this is like obviously dream scenario, but if you can get a massage the morning of your wedding, incredible. It relaxes your muscles. You get like a little lymphatic drainage situation going on, which is always good, especially for the dress, especially for your face. If not, the day before. It'd be so nice if you could just treat yourself to a massage. And you deserve it, right? You've put in all the work planning your wedding. There's so many things you've had to be in charge of and so many stressful situations you've had to be in at that point. Treat yourself, if you can, to a massage. The next do, learn to delegate. This can be tricky. This can be challenging. If you're like me, I'm a Capricorn and I don't ask for help for nothing. I don't ever ask for help. Okay. So don't be like me on your wedding day. Delegate. Lean on your bridesmaids, lean on your mother-in-law, your maid of honors, anybody who's in your circle on your big day. Lean on your brother, whoever it is, your best friend. I don't care who it is. Lean on your inner circle to help get things done for you. So that way you are just left to enjoy your day, your big day that comes hopefully once, like you want to enjoy it to the max. And so a big do for me is to plan your photographer to come once your makeup is about 3/4 of the way done. I say this because I've seen this happen so many times. The photographer shows up, it's a huge interruption in your makeup application. So if you're only about halfway done and your photographer comes in, you may not even like the way those photos come out, right? So it's kind of pointless to have them show up if you're not even gonna be happy with what the photos look like that they're taking. So it's kind of a waste of everyone's time. So for that reason, I highly suggest you have your photographer come at least into your makeup space and your makeup application once your makeup is about 3/4 of the way, if not almost completed. That way they can catch the really beautiful steps, right? They can catch the setting spray. They can catch the lipstick being applied. They can catch those final little touches, those final swipes of highlighter, those really soft, beautiful touches that make for really beautiful, magical photos. You don't need the halfway process. You definitely don't need the process of skin prep and all those things, or when we're blending out eyeliner and your under eye's a mess because we have shadow fallout. You don't need it. You're not going to use those photos anyway. Just trust me. So plan accordingly for when your photographer comes to be at least 3/4 of the way done with your makeup application, because you'll be happy with those photos. I promise you. This next do is to drink loads of water, but not on your wedding day. Okay, the wedding day is not really when it counts. It just isn't. Sorry to say that. And this might be an unpopular opinion. The most crucial time to start drinking your H2O is going to be that week, 2 weeks, minimum 3 days leading up to your wedding, right? That's when it is crucial that you get in all the hydration you possibly can to plump up your skin, to get it beautiful and glowing from within. The morning of, I'm sorry to say this, it's a throwaway. In terms of like your water intake, it's going to be great for avoiding headaches due to dehydration and too much alcohol consumption, but it's not going to give you that glow from within if you're just chugging bottles and bottles of water the morning of your wedding. It's just not. It's not going to do anything for you. So make sure you're getting in that H2O and that hydration a minimum of like 3 to 5 days before your wedding. But ideally, you want to start getting that hydration in 2 weeks prior, like for best results. Another important do, and I've lightly touched on this, but make sure you are doing a bridal trial if you are getting your makeup done. But even if you're not getting your makeup done professionally, let's say you have put yourself in charge of your makeup, you're brave, and I admire you, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you are doing your own makeup for your wedding, or if you're having it done, a trial is important on both sides. If you're doing it yourself, start doing your trial. Start planning your trials out and start planning your makeup look out, and plan it around an evening out, right? So plan it, for a date night, plan it for your bridal shower, plan it for a big event where, you're going to take photos or at least some like selfies or something, right? Plan to do a trial either way. And if you're hiring a makeup artist, make sure you're doing a trial. It is so important. It's so funny because in this day and age with like TikTok and, Instagram and stuff, there's so many people that are experts, or at least, makeup artists and bridal experts and things like that. I've actually been seeing so many people saying that they don't do bridal trials. And like, if you want a bridal trial, then they're not the makeup artist for you. And I just think that's really harsh. I think that everyone should have a trial and everyone should have the opportunity to test out the makeup look prior to their big day when it's too late to change it. So set aside the money and the budget if you need to, and book yourself a bridal trial or two. If you're not sure about which artist to choose from, book 2 artists, do 2 different separate makeup trials, and decide from there which artist is the best fit for you. Now, I also have a great suggestion, and that is to make sure you're booking your bridal makeup trial, if you can, with your hair trial. Do them on the same day, not simultaneously. You don't need to do that because that's just going to be a big interruption. It's going to be too distracting. But if you're going to do a hair trial, book it the morning of. Book your makeup application right after that hair trial is done. And then another huge, important, and very, very, very overlooked do that I want you to take into consideration is to wear white. And I speak from experience with this too. I've done so many bridal trials, countless bridal trials. And I don't think one of them has ever worn white, and I wish they had. And I've always thought to myself afterwards, like, I wish I would have just known to ask them beforehand, show up in white, put on a nice white top, even if it's a white t-shirt, just so you can see how that makeup and those tones are bouncing off the color that you're wearing. You want to see what the makeup application is going to look like while it's bouncing off of white. And also, when we're taking our photos of you and your final makeup look, maybe it's laundry day and you're wearing like a wrinkly zip-up hoodie, or you're wearing something just you don't really want to be photographed in, take those things into consideration. You want to take in the whole picture when you're doing your bridal trial. And that is why I mentioned the whole hair aspect too. If you're not going to do your hair trial, at least show up with your hair done to some capacity, right? Whether it's like blown out, lightly curled, tamed, looking polished. You want your hair at least look polished. That way you have a better idea of what your makeup application is going to look like on the wedding day. I've done so many bridal trials where I feel like the bride is not fully in it and they can't really tell if they like the makeup because their hair's not done. They're not in a proper outfit. They're feeling like they have a load of makeup on, but nothing else. You need to have the entire picture to take into consideration if you like that makeup or not. Another do, once you book your makeup artist for your big day, communication is key. Make sure you have really good communication with your makeup artist. Don't be afraid to speak up. We're here for you. We're here to make you feel like your absolute most beautiful and best version of yourself. So if that involves telling us that you maybe don't like your eyeliner a certain way, or maybe you didn't like the way we shaped your lips on your trial, tell us. You're not going to hurt our feelings. That's what we're here for. Communication is absolutely key, and it helps us to figure out what it is that's going to make you feel and look your absolute best. And also, ultimately, you know your face more than we do, so don't be afraid to speak up. If you're halfway through your makeup application, whether it's on your big day or on your makeup trial, hopefully it's not on your big day because you've established that communication during your trial, don't be afraid to speak up and say, hey, I don't like the way this is going. My blush is feeling a little too this, etc. Have that communication. Don't be afraid to speak up. It's your day. You're hiring us to help you. And ultimately, the ball is in your court. So ultimately, if you don't like the direction your makeup application is going in, make sure you are able to speak up and communicate that with your artist because we can't read your mind. So if you don't tell us, then we can't fix it. Another really important do that I want you to take into consideration is make sure you are trying on different lip shades. Lip shades can make or break your makeup look. Whether you're a bride or just going to a special event, a lipstick shade can really alter the whole overall appearance of your makeup application. So when you're choosing a lipstick, it is so important that you test it out. Wear it out, wear it in daylight, take some selfies in your car, take some selfies in natural daylight. But also, more importantly, take some photos with flash photography at night, if you can, right? I know we're all busy. Brides are especially super busy leading up to their wedding days, but if you can, shop for your lipsticks, okay? Test them out. Test out different shades and test out different depths of shades as well. Lip shades are just absolutely so important for your wedding day. You have to get it right because it can make or break your makeup application. And speaking of makeup on your big day, it's important to choose a focus. Okay, so if you want to just focus on your eyes and you want your eyes to be sultry and this and that and sexy and va-va-voom, whatever the case is, whatever you are choosing to focus on, let's say it is your eyes, then you want to go a little more understated, a little bit more muted, or a little bit more natural, at least in tone for your lip, because you want to have that balance, right? You don't have your eyes competing with your lip on your big day, or in general. Generally speaking, that's just a makeup rule of thumb that is a good guideline to think about, but especially on your big day. You don't want to have two conflicting things where they're competing and they're just not meshing well together. So choose a focus, whether that's your eyes, or let's say you are, you want to go more understated with your eyes, then you could choose a more bold lip on your wedding day because you'll have that balance. But either way, choose a feature to focus on. And lastly, a really good do to take into consideration is to plan your bridal trial around a big date if you can. So around an important event. Let's say that's your bridal shower. If you can possibly plan your trial for the morning of your bridal shower, hey, that is a great opportunity to get that in, and you're gonna be seeing a bunch of family, seeing a bunch of friends. You can even ask their opinion on like what they think of your makeup look and kind of get like that insight beforehand. And also you're gonna be taking photos, right? So it's kind of a win-win. You get your makeup done, you get to try the makeup application and test it out before your actual wedding day, and you get to see what other people's reaction is gonna be to that makeup look. And then you also get to wear it for a big event where you're gonna be super social, you're gonna be running around, doing a lot of things. You're gonna see what it's like to wear it for a big, important day. Another great day to plan your bridal trial is on a day that you're planning on taking photos. Test it out then. If you can book your artist the same day to coincide with a big shoot, like your engagement photos or your save the date photos, whatever photos you're taking, even better. And that leads to my last do, which is making sure you're doing your bridal trial early enough in the day that you have enough time to fully wear that makeup and to see how it's going to wear and last throughout the day. Don't plan your trial for the end of the day. Don't plan it for after work because you're not gonna really get that wear time and you're not gonna be able to experience how that makeup wears on your skin for an extended period of time. I could go on and on about the do's and don'ts, and so I have so many tips, endless tips on what to do and what not to do for your wedding day in terms of your makeup application. If you want a part 2, leave me a comment below. Also, leave me a comment below. Let me know if any of these do's and don'ts were helpful to you, and if you're a future bride coming up this year, congratulations. I hope you found this video helpful. I love talking about this kind of stuff, so leave me a comment either way. Give me your feedback below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.